Whammer! You're watching ZakTrappGames. Have you ever seen a game and thought, man, that game looks super cool, but I don't know that I necessarily have an hour to play to figure out if I like this game or not? Today, we are checking out my first 60 minutes in V-Rising. And then hopefully we'll have an idea of, is this game worth playing or not, and or should you buy it? The game opens up with a really good short cinematic talking about how long ago vampires ruled the world, but then humanity rose up against them and overthrew their reign of terror. So the vampires hid away in darkness for centuries, and then the hunt begins. To bite people and suck them. Their blood. Suck their blood. Get your mind out of the gut. And then comes the character creation screen, and we get a good first look at our character. This is the vampire I made. He's bald, and his name is Zak. There are no other similarities. And then, just like that, we do the most graceful coffin exit I have ever seen, and we are off. We get to run around for a little bit and get used to the controls, and then do a cool little dashy move. And then, of course, you know, I had to do a little dancey dance. And then we went outside. Outside is pretty cool. Honestly, I really like the kind of creepy atmosphere the game has. And then we headed down some stairs and got to finally do some combat against some skeletons. And then I also picked up a rat. And then I ate the rat. I don't want to talk about it. I was then able to start crafting some gear, and I got a cool sword and a ring out of it. And then finally we got our first ability. We hit R and it launched a red orb in the target direction, which was pretty cool. It was at this point that I realized I could smack stuff for resources, which is a nice touch. The next area I got to was a huge wooded area filled with lots of wildlife and plenty of stuff to smack around. It was then I realized I was indeed a vampire and I could drink blood. Shortly after drinking my fill, I crafted a huge mace and some axes, and I just started pimp slapping everyone who dared stand in my way. That includes deer. These hands don't discriminate. And then I discovered my mortal enemy, the sun. But that's okay because soon we'll learn how to heal. I continued to wander along, just utterly murking the undead and forest creatures who dared to step in my way. One of the cool mechanics in this game is when you drink blood, you can then spend that blood to heal. It checks out. We are a vampire after all. And just like that, it was time for us to continue the main gameplay loop by farming up some resources and drinking blood, which is honestly pretty fun. I then found some humans, so I proceeded to hand out ass whoopings to anyone who wanted one, and I finally got my first taste of that sweet, sweet human blood. Then I fought a bear, which was much harder. I continued to explore around a little bit, and I found some different types of undead creatures, and then I saw that further down the path there was a literal skull instead of telling me what level they were, so I broke their lamp and then ran away. And then it was finally time to start building. That's right, this game has some survival aspects in it, like base building. I placed down the heart of my castle and got to work on placing floors, walls, and gathering more resources. Then finally, I got my very own coffin. Hell yes. Next up was learning about constructing various crafting stations, such as a sawmill, which lets you turn wood into planks. I actually ended up making 2 of these because it took a little longer than I'd like just sitting around waiting for the planks to be done. After I finished messing around with my base, I figured it was time to test out the new gear we made. So I fought another bear. I barely survived. Okay, I'm just kidding. It was actually a lot easier this time around. After the bear, I smacked around some more skeletons, which also went pretty well. Next up was a feature I unlocked called blood tracking. Essentially, this helps guide you to a boss, and when you beat that boss, it unlocks stuff that helps you progress through the game. After wandering around for a little bit and following the trail, I found the boss, the Alpha White Wolf. This guy was a little bit of a to fight because he kept spawning smaller wolves, but eventually we came out on top and we were able to win the fight and take him out. Then it was time to extract the new special blood type. Doing this unlocked the ability to transform into a freaking wolf. Doing this helps you get from point A to point B faster. While wandering back to my base, I found Groot, and he was not very nice. So I had to run away, and then I almost died from the sun. But then I made it back to my base, and everything ended up being okay. And then, just like that, I hit the 60-minute mark. Okay, should you check out V-Rising? If what I experienced in my first hour of playing this game is any indication of what this game has to offer, I'd say this game is pretty damn cool. The combat is fun, the base building is fun, the exploration is fun, and I barely explored any of the map. And that being said, it's quite possible that there may be more maps in this game as well. Actually, V-Rising has 17 maps. Rather than Googling anything about this game, I am purely making this video on what I experienced. I'm not going to bother coming up with any sort of rating system for this video. I'm just going to say, was it fun or was it not fun? As I was saying, combat, fun. Base building, fun. Progressing, fun. Being a wolf, super fun. The boss fight was also pretty fun as well. Right now, V Rising is $35 on Steam. Final summation, I will definitely be playing more of this game because I had a lot of fun. So go out and check out V Rising. Whammer.
Sub, baby.
All right, stop. Drop a sub and listen. Viewers back with a brand new subscription. Sub badge grabs a hold of you tightly. You can watch content daily and nightly, rising to the top. A little slow. Tune your speakers up and enjoy the show.